So we know the war is about to get warmer, shall we say, hotter. To mix it up on the subject, Christina Bellantoni, senior reporter, Talking Points Memo, and Matt Lewis, blogger, columnist at politicsdaily.com. Is there anything, Christina, that you're seeing in your reporting or that suggests that this is meaningfully different than prior offensives? And if so, how, where, and why?
Well, I'm not sure how meaningfully different it is, but I think that you are really seeing the Obama administration implement its new Afghanistan strategy. Now that more and more thousands of troops are getting there, they're starting to be able to do what they said that they wanted to do, which was root out terrorists. So I think that you're going to see a lot more of that.
Hold on. We all know that rooting out terrorists is a crock. There's no al-Qaeda there. We know that the problem is Taliban control valleys. We send resources over there. The Taliban may harbor terrorists from time to time, but the vast majority of the terrorists, if you believe the report, are actually in Pakistan. So I guess what I'm trying for the terror thing's nonsense. Stability in Afghanistan may be necessary long term. Do we get any sense, Christina, that this even goes towards stability? And can you put this in context of anything in the past? Matt, what do you think?
Well, look, I agree with you, Dylan, about stability. And the good news here is that this could increase stability. Very happy to see that Afghanis are involved not only in the execution of this, but in the planning as well. That's important.
So how does escalating the war with the incumbent power structure make it more stable?
The theory here is that what they're going to be able to do is take into consideration the actual government of Afghanistan. So the goal isn't just to kill terrorists, to kill the Taliban, but it's to create a safe haven for the government to function. But I will tell you, Dylan, here's what I'm concerned about. I read the Reuters story about this, and I'm number one, why are you telegraphing this, that you're coming in? Number two, the timing. According to Reuters, part of the reason for this surge right now is because they plan to withdraw American troops next year.
But we got to move on. But
for strategic purposes.
Yeah, I understand. But after 9 years, and considering that our military capability is slightly greater than that of Afghanistan, just by a little, my sense is that bullets don't seem to be solving the problem, that we have underlying issues in that country and those relationships that we may not be addressing, and we're kind of like fools here to sort of, we'll shoot more bullets. I don't know. Anyway, Democrats shifting the focus to jobs as Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid today announced that they're moving quickly on a jobs bill, and there could be a procedural vote on it as early as Monday. Sounds pretty good, right? But no one's saying what's in the bill. No one's saying how much it would cost. No one's saying how it will be paid for, nor is anyone acknowledging the actual reason why so many people don't have a job, which is a rigged government controlled by financial monopolies depriving resources of education, science, engineering, you pick it. But forget all that. Right now, Reid and House Majority Leader Nancy Pelosi meeting with the president at the White House to talk about their jobs bill. Christina, do we have any insight as to how it is that the jobs bill, it's hard to say it without a snicker, will work?
No, we don't know if it's going to work. There's a couple things here, though. It's funny that the Senate can move very quickly when it wants to move quickly. I mean, you're talking about a procedural vote as soon as Monday on a bill that no one's read yet, whereas, obviously health care dragged along for months and months. So this just demonstrates that leadership can really do what it wants when it wants to. The other thing that's not really outlined here, and I think leadership is maybe wise not to put a number on this, is how many jobs that will be saved or created. This is something the administration has faced this challenge since the stimulus bill passed last February.
Hey, Matt, did I tell you I got T. Boone Pickens on the show today?
You did not.
I'm excited. I'm excited about that. You get to say T. Boone. He's the man. It's fun. Anyway, moving on. China.
So many T-Boons.
Yeah, there you go. It's enjoyable. China, in its hunger for America's most precious commodity, speaking of T. Boone and oil, has bought up our debt. They are buying up, as we discussed yesterday, world's oil resources from Brazil to Nigeria to Canada. And apparently now they want our pandas, too. Problem is, technically, the pandas are theirs. Since Tishan and Mela were on loan to us from China, the question is, given China's leverage with all the energy resources and debt, Matt, should we be giving these pandas back or holding them for ransom in exchange for a debt reduction of some kind? Do you feel like we're being too easy here, giving these people these pandas?
I think we should just say that the pandas wandered off and we can't find them. But no, look, This story in Washington, D.C. has become ridiculous, and the only saving grace, Dylan, is that we're going to get 2 feet of snow in Washington, D.C., and people are going to obsess and freak out about that, and nobody's going to remember the pandas.
Yeah.
But
I've
like
got to defend the pandemonium, though. Come on,
Please defend the pandas.
This story has been a big story for years. When we first wondered if the pandas were pregnant, and then you got to see the pandas have their first birthday. I mean, this is something that Washingtonians have been fascinated by. It's a big draw. The pandas are on our Metro cards.
And the bottom line,
I saw a story today where somebody actually says about the panda, he's going to be a diplomat for Washington.
It's one thing. It's one thing for China to control our financial destiny by being our chief creditor. It's another thing for them to control our energy destiny by controlling global oil reserves. It's yet another to take
We're sending this poor panda to a communist country.
Don't take those pandas. Next, who doesn't love a good old-fashioned scary attack ad? It's a lot easier than solving the actual problems of the country when you can just come up with Demonsheep. Check out this new web video from the Republican governor's race in California. Carly Fiorina attacking Tom Campbell for not being a real fiscal conservative, a wolf in sheep's clothing, a demon sheep, if you will.
A wolf in sheep's clothing. A man who literally helped put the state of California on the path to bankruptcy and higher taxes. Fiscal conservative? Or just another same old tale of tax and spend, authored by a career politician who helped guide us into this fiscal mess in the first place?
I don't even like scary movies. I can't handle that stuff, honestly. It freaks me out. I have nightmares and red eyes in my... Christina, do you feel like the politicians in this country understand that most of the voters know that the government is rigging the game for special interests? They don't know who and how and where necessarily, but it's obvious that there's a structural problem, and yet they still get fed basically the most base level fear-mongering when it comes to politics in this country. Why is that?
Yeah, but, from a political advertising standpoint, this ad accomplishes exactly what it sets out to do. Now everybody knows who's running in this race.
Yeah.
They are talking about Carly Fiorina today. By the way, Chuck DeVore not getting talked about at all. He's a guest on MSNBC earlier, but, this is a war between those two
Hold on.
candidates.
He was a guest on my show 10 minutes ago. I was just talking to him. He's getting talked about.
Let me take issue with this. I find it hard to believe that anybody could argue that Fiorina was somehow brilliant to put out this ad. This is the most bizarre political ad I've ever seen in my life. This is the kind of thing that if you're losing a campaign and in desperation, when you need publicity, you might do something like this. This is not something...
This political campaign for me is the reason why the Tea Party exists. No more of this. I'll take anything other than demon sheep. Go ahead, Christina.
Who is dressed up as the sheep? We know who the narrator is, but we don't know who is in the sheep's costume. That is a very important question.
All right, we'll look for it on Talking Points Memo in the morning with your byline. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
You would have thought...